The internet is on fire right now, and it's all because of one diss track. NLE Choppa went at YoungBoy with bars so intense, fans, critics, and casual listeners alike couldn't stop talking. This isn't just a rap beef, it's a battle over influence, reputation, and power in hip-hop. And the stakes are higher than ever. From shocking lyrics to family getting involved, social media has exploded, dividing fans and turning every comment section into a battlefield. Stick around, because the story behind this feud is messy, raw, and far from over, and by the end, you'll understand why the whole world is watching. Babies aren't money, they'll hurt you, mess up your home, and break your heart. I'm not here to play the childhood sympathy card like some old-school WB fan. Some kids, honestly, they might need serious mental help. And the man in question, he sounds angry, like he wants to fight everyone around him, from his mom to his dad to his uncle. I don't want to hear that negativity. I'm focused on making moves, getting money. NBA YoungBoy's music. Babies ain't money getting, that energy just doesn't speak to me. That's not soul music. I'm about real, grounded vibes, not pain-filled chaos. Some people take things way too far just to make a point. Imagine this. A video surfaces online where someone's dancing around like a ballerina, playful and carefree, while right next to them, a man is on his knees holding a crack pipe. It's jarring, unsettling, and honestly, unnecessary. You don't need to stage extreme visuals like that to send a message. But this is exactly the type of content that gets people talking and fuels arguments online. Social media thrives on drama, and when visuals this wild hit the timeline, the comments explode instantly. People take sides, memes are born, and the debate spirals into chaos. That's exactly what happened when NLE Choppa dropped his KO diss track. The internet went absolutely wild. Fans, critics, and casual listeners couldn't stop talking about it. Choppa came into the booth with serious energy. He wasn't joking or throwing light punches, he was going all in. Bars like "you poison the youth, nothing positive you do hit hard," and social media froze for a moment. Even YoungBoy's own fans had to admit the track was intense and well delivered. Comments flooded in. "Big YoungBoy fan, but this track is fire. And never knew this generation could rap like this great one." Choppa had successfully grabbed everyone's attention, and the world knew he meant business, but YoungBoy didn't just sit back and take it. He flipped the script completely. Instead of a quiet response, he went public, calling Choppa a clout chaser. He accused him of writing his name just to generate attention, saying washed-up rappers need YoungBoy's fame to stay relevant. In other words, YoungBoy wasn't just responding with music, he was reclaiming the narrative. He wasn't letting anyone tell his story or manipulate his image. The stakes were higher than just bars on a track. This was about reputation, influence, and who controls the conversation in hip-hop right now. Adding even more fuel to the fire, YoungBoy's mama jumped in online. She dragged Choppa personally, claiming he was jealous of her son, and only resurfacing because YoungBoy's career is booming. Her comments amplified the drama, turning the feud into something that wasn't just between two rappers. It had become a full-blown social spectacle. Fans quickly split into factions. Some supported Choppa, agreeing that YoungBoy's music could have a negative influence on young listeners. Others defended YoungBoy, pointing to his massive success, energy, and authenticity in the game. Every tweet, every post, every comment section became a battlefield. It wasn't just words on social media. The energy spilled into real life. YoungBoy's tour dates sold out faster than anyone could keep up with, forcing his team to add over 20 extra shows. In New Orleans, the crowds were so huge that authorities had to deploy over 400 police officers, drones, and even armored trucks to maintain order. He performed "I Hate YoungBoy" live in Atlanta City, full of rivals and ops, and the building literally shook with excitement. Analysts called it proof that YoungBoy is the king of rap right now. Pulling off shows like that, especially in challenging cities, takes influence, charisma, and raw energy that few others can match. The tension between the two rappers is a perfect storm of music, image, and generational influence. Choppa criticized YoungBoy as a bad influence on the youth, claiming his music promotes reckless behavior. YoungBoy, on the other hand, turned the tables, calling Choppa irrelevant and showing that he doesn't need anyone's validation to stay on top. Add in commentary from people like Charleston White, who switches sides depending on the track, and you have an internet frenzy that feels bigger than just a music feud. Every fan, every critic, and even casual observers got drawn into the drama. What makes this story so compelling is the way it's about more than just music. It's about perception, reputation, and generational influence. Fans aren't just picking their favorite rapper, they're picking sides in a larger debate about influence, morality, and authenticity in hip-hop. YoungBoy's music, raw and chaotic, appeals to a generation craving energy, rebellion, and realness. Choppa, meanwhile, represents the voice of critique and accountability, pointing out the dangers of glorifying reckless behavior. This isn't just a beef, it's a cultural clash playing out on the biggest stage possible. The internet and social media thrives on moments like this. Every snippet of video, every screenshot of lyrics, every reaction becomes content that spreads like wildfire. Memes, commentary threads, and viral clips multiply, keeping the feud alive in public consciousness long after the songs are released. Even seemingly small gestures, like changing the title of a tribute track or posting a cryptic comment, get dissected and debated endlessly. The internet ensures that nothing stays quiet for long. At the core, this feud shows how music today isn't just entertainment, it's influence, power, and identity. NLE Choppa's KO challenged YoungBoy's status and sparked conversation about responsibility and influence. YoungBoy's response proved that he's not just a rapper, he's a leader to millions of fans, and he knows how to protect his narrative. Add in the visuals, the performances, and the reactions from family, critics, and fans, and you have a story that's part music, part drama, and entirely captivating. In the end, this feud illustrates how hip-hop in 2025 isn't just about who can spit the best bars. It's about presence, perception, and the ability to move people. Some people might go too far, creating extreme visuals or making wild claims online, but that's exactly why this story has captured everyone's attention. It's messy, it's raw, and it's real. And as the next chapters unfold, fans will be watching, reacting, and debating every move, because in this world, the internet doesn't just witness a battle, it amplifies it, turning a single track or comment into a global conversation. And for YoungBoy Choppa and the fans watching, the story is far from over. If you've been online lately, you've seen NLE Choppa's KO. The track hit hard. In just 2 weeks, it's been streamed millions of times on Spotify, and has over 7 million YouTube views. This wasn't a playful jab, Choppa came in with serious energy. Bars loaded with disrespect and proof he meant business. From the very first bars, NLE Choppa came at YoungBoy with full force. He didn't hold back. Choppa called him dead in the soul, accusing him of corrupting the youth and spreading the wrong messages through his music. He painted a picture of YoungBoy as a bad influence, someone who didn't act as a responsible role model for the millions of young fans watching and listening. The lyrics were sharp, cutting, and unrelenting. When he said, "You poison the youth, nothing positive you do," social media immediately lit up. Fans, critics, and casual listeners alike paused to take notice. That line alone set the tone for the entire track, signaling that Choppa wasn't just making a diss for fun, he was making a statement. The reaction online was instantaneous. Even diehard YoungBoy fans admitted that the diss was powerful and well executed. Comments poured in across platforms. One fan wrote, "Big YoungBoy fan, but this track is fire." Another said, "Never knew this generation could rap like this, great one." People were impressed by Choppa's delivery, his lyrical confidence, and the sheer intensity of the track. For some, it was the first time they saw Choppa move beyond playful rivalry into full-blown confrontation, proving that he could hold his own in a heated rap battle. But it wasn't just the words, it was the energy behind them. Choppa's tone, his timing, and the way he structured the verses made it clear he had a purpose. This wasn't just about disrespecting YoungBoy, it was about making a statement about accountability in hip-hop. He challenged YoungBoy not just on skill but on influence, calling attention to how his music could affect young fans who looked up to him. That's why the track resonated with so many people. It was raw, real, and carried weight beyond the usual social media hype. The internet couldn't get enough. Memes, reactions, and debates started spreading like wildfire. Fans analyzed every line, dissecting each bar and discussing its implications. Some fans who weren't previously familiar with Choppa's work suddenly found themselves paying attention, impressed by the confidence and boldness he displayed. The diss track didn't just target YoungBoy, it elevated Choppa in the eyes of a wider audience, showing he could speak truth to power and command attention in a way that few artists in his generation could. And NLE Choppa isn't the only one putting YoungBoy under the microscope. Charleston White has been vocal about this for years. Long before the diss track, the hype, or the streaming numbers, became a topic of conversation, Charleston has repeatedly criticized YoungBoy's music, calling it toxic and highlighting the intense anger, depression, and negative energy that runs through his songs. According to him, this kind of music doesn't just entertain, it can have a real impact on the minds of young listeners. For kids who have proper guidance and strong support systems, YoungBoy's music might serve as a form of release. They can listen, get angry, let off steam, and not let it affect their daily behavior. But Charleston points out that many fans don't have that kind of structure around them. They absorb the lyrics, the tone, and the attitude, and it begins to shape their perception of what's normal. Violence, reckless behavior, and toxic masculinity can start to feel acceptable or even aspirational to those who are impressionable. In his eyes, YoungBoy's music carries a weight of responsibility that many don't recognize. Charleston has also been clear that this isn't a personal attack on YoungBoy. As an individual, he acknowledges the rapper's talent, his energy, and his ability to connect with fans. His concern lies in influence. YoungBoy's reach is massive, with millions of young listeners hanging on his every word. That level of visibility, combined with the raw, unfiltered emotion in his music, gives him enormous power over how a generation interprets anger, success, and conflict. Charleston's critiques focus on the idea that this power isn't being handled responsibly, and that young fans are the ones paying the price. What makes Charleston's criticism especially compelling is that it aligns with real-world observations. You can see the influence play out in social media trends, dance challenges, and even the way young fans mimic the aggression, bravado, and risk-taking behavior described in the songs. While some argue that YoungBoy is simply expressing his reality, Charleston warns that artistic expression can't be separated from its effects, especially when the audience is predominantly young and highly impressionable. Ultimately, Charleston White's ongoing commentary adds a serious layer to the conversation about YoungBoy. It's no longer just about music or who can spit the best bars. It's about influence, responsibility, and the way raw energy and emotion in rap can shape the minds of an entire generation. His voice serves as a cautionary lens through which fans, critics, and even fellow artists can examine the impact of YoungBoy's work beyond the charts and the stage. Charleston's message is clear. YoungBoy's followers treat him like a leader. Millions of kids hang on every word he says, which makes his influence dangerous. These are young people picking him as their voice, their guide. And that's why this beef matters. It didn't happen overnight. This tension has been building for years. Back in 2019, NLE Choppa was probably YoungBoy's biggest fan. He loved his music, defended him non-stop, and even dropped a tribute track called Free YoungBoy when YB got arrested. In interviews, Choppa said respectfully that the only rapper ahead of him was YoungBoy. He called him an inspiration and practically saluted him every chance he got. But everything changed after King Von passed away. YoungBoy released a song with a hook that got people talking, and the industry started debating. DJ Academics and others said Y was on demon time, while Lil Reese fired back saying he was just rapping like everyone else. Then came the moment that flipped it all. NLE Choppa publicly said, "I stamped that." Just like that, the internet knew Choppa had taken Von's side, and YoungBoy, he doesn't forget things like that. The tension only grew later, when YB said Choppa wasn't a real gangster because his mom isn't one. Social media blew up. People laughed, made jokes, and called the statement dumb and pointless. Some even joked about their barbers, just mocking the logic. Choppa tried to keep it cool in interviews, saying there was no beef, but the internet didn't buy it. Fans could see the tension, and even small actions, like changing the title of his tribute track from Free YoungBoy to just YoungBoy, sent a clear message. That wasn't accidental, it was a sign that things had shifted. Fast forward to now. Choppa drops KO. The internet explodes, and YoungBoy finally fires back. Online, he called Choppa a clout chaser, saying washed-up rappers only talk about him to get views. YoungBoy made it clear, Choppa is irrelevant, just using his name to boost his career. Even his mom joined in, saying Choppa was only resurfacing because YoungBoy's career is booming, and he came up just to hate. And while all this drama goes on, YoungBoy's success is undeniable. His tour dates sold out so fast that over 20 extra shows had to be added. In New Orleans, authorities had to deploy 400 police officers, drones, and armored trucks just to keep the crowds safe. Every show is packed. He even performed I Hate YoungBoy live in Atlanta City full of ops, and the building shook. Academics called it proof that YB is the king of rap right now because nobody else could pull off that kind of energy without something going wrong. I can't officially say it, but NBA YoungBoy might even be the king of Atlanta right now. And honestly, it's a power move. He was awarded the key to the city before performing in front of half the city's rappers. That's huge. But that's also when the beef got messier. YoungBoy started stirring up old Choa DL rumors again, making cryptic online comments that had fans connecting the dots. People dug up Choa's old tweet saying, "I am coming out," and assumed it meant coming out of the closet. Choppa tried to clarify with a statement, saying he loves all people, including DL males, but his words didn't land. Fans thought it sounded forced and suspicious. Charleston White jumped in once again, but this time siding with YoungBoy. He said Choa had moved to feminine and couldn't really challenge someone like YB. According to Charleston, once you step into that kind of runway modeling or that style, you lose street credibility and can't just come back to the trenches acting tough. His words had people laughing online. He roasted Chopper for his runway walk and told him, basically, that he's disqualified from throwing shade about real street credibility. The internet had a field day because just a week earlier, Charleston was tearing YoungBoy apart, saying he was a bad influence and that kids listening to him needed mental help. Then, after Choppa's KO dropped, Charleston switched sides and defended YoungBoy. Fans called him a hypocrite, but his words only added fuel to the fire. One person joked, "Whose side are you even on?" Another called him an agent of chaos straight from the government. Fans are split. Some support Chopper, saying YoungBoy's influence on the youth is dangerous. Others support YoungBoy, praising his raw energy and dominance in the rap game. Even YoungBoy's mom joined in, saying Choppa only resurfaced because he's jealous of her son's success. Now, the beef isn't just about rap, it's about image, pride, and perception. Who really built their legacy? Who hasn't? YoungBoy is publicly clapping back at Chopper. Chopper is calling YoungBoy harmful for the youth. Charleston is roasting both sides. And fans are divided on who to believe. So, where do you stand? Are you riding with YoungBoy's raw energy and chaos, or do you side with NLE Choppa's warnings about his influence? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this one is far from over. And if you're all about bold takes and real talk, hit like, subscribe, and check out the next video coming up now.